Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome home to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so happy that you are here. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Talia Joy, and I'm so excited you're here. I am a spiritual guide, a teacher, a manifestation mentor, and we dive into all things self growth, spiritual awakening, aligning with your whole self, which we're talking about today, and everything that actually goes into manifesting. Because if you're here, you're an old soul. So as a human, you signed up for a big transformation and abundance and fulfillment and health and vitality. And on a soul, you signed up for a life of growth and again, the transformation, right? So I'm so excited you're here because this is where we talk about the something more behind manifestation. There are episodes about the law of attraction and manifestation hacks and all of that, but we really do go big and wide from the quantum to inner child healing and everything in between. So I'm really excited you're here. Today, we are talking about aligning with our highest self, our true self, our authentic self, and everything that means. It's going to be such a good episode. You know, this has been the overarching theme of everything that has actually resulted in manifestation. Let me explain. As I just said, manifestation is a self-growth journey. It's a soul growth journey. And really, the whole journey here is coming back to and aligning with our whole authentic self, coming back into who we truly are as we dissolve and heal and shed what we were told to be, what we're supposed to be, what people expect of us, what will keep people comfortable. You know what I'm talking about. And we are realizing that it's more of a journey of coming back into who we truly are. And ironically or cosmically, the cosmic joke is that is what actually helps you to manifest. So it's not like we choose self-growth or manifestation. It's not like we choose healing, aligning with our whole self or manifestation. This is your path to manifestation. If you're here, if you suspect you may be an old soul, if you're all about self-growth, spiritual growth, living in purpose, developing your intuition, learning how to live in joy and peace, then you are here, as I say, for that self-growth. And so today we're talking about coming back into that, what I call the whole authentic self. This has been, as I was saying a second ago, the biggest part of my journey that has transformed everything. I used to live in an eating disorder, and that eating disorder for over a decade was the result of 1 or 2 decades before that of low self-worth, of bullying, of trauma, of the stuff that we go through. I know you've been through hard stuff. And that hardened us. It shaped us. It squished us down. It snuffed us out. It told us who we need to be to get love, to get approval, or it showed us that the world is unsafe or whatever else it was. That changes us. And I love dogs, so I like comparing myself to a dog, but imagine if a dog, or a lot of us know dogs, right, that have been abused. Maybe you adopted one or it was a rescue. For the rest of its life, it will have certain characteristics because of that abuse. It might be really touchy around other dogs, or my first dog was rescued and it was beaten. So her name was Maggie. And as she grew up, any man that was tall and bald, she would cower. Or if you raised your arm up high, she would cower because she thought she was going to get hit. And even though we adopted her when she was 1.5, her whole life, she had a tendency towards that. Even as she relaxed over time, she still had that reaction. And it's because of what we've been through. We have beliefs, we have feelings, we have emotions, we have perceptions of ourself and the world because of what we've been through. And the journey of awakening, the journey of the type of self-growth that you and I are into, this knee-deep stuff, this spiritual stuff, it is truly about coming back into who we were before that, but even better, extracting the essence of who we truly are, separate from the labels and the stuff, but while also getting to know and honoring our journey so that we actually integrate it into our experience. It's not about pretending the past didn't happen. It's not about pretending you had a different childhood or things went a different way. We learn how to actually bring all of that in to make it who we really, truly, wholly, holy, like whole, the whole self, the whole us. And that is game changing. That has been what has healed my eating disorder. That has been what has transformed me from hating being in my head, being overwhelmed, anxious, insecure, really in a prison in my mind. Then that would lead to drugs and alcohol to numb. And I was in a spiral for longer than I was aware of, for longer than I haven't been in a spiral. Like it was so much of my life that I truly felt like I hated myself, and my inner voice, my inner critic was so strong, and there was such a disconnect. And if someone would have said oh, just be your whole authentic self, I don't even know the words that are coming out of your mouth. But time goes on and we learn and we take programs and we read books and we become aware of different things. And this is where we are now, is recognizing that it's stepping back into your whole authentic self that will have you manifest, because what you see in your mind's eye is meant for you. And it's the journey of becoming that version of you, becoming the next evolution of you. That is truly what it's about. And that also is what has you able to embody it and then manifest it and live it as your real reality. So I'm going to go knee deep. As you can feel, I'm excited. So grab your beverage, grab your ice water, grab your soy latte, grab your pumpkin spice latte, and let's dive in. Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm so excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life. My name is Talia Joy, and I am committed to showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to go on a magical journey of spiritual and self-growth to manifest the life you're meant for, we are now besties. Let's dive in. Okay, let's journey back in time. When you were a little smunchkin. You were a little kid. For some amount of time, you were probably free-spirited, full of life and imagination. You didn't doubt yourself. You didn't wonder if you looked good or if you were good enough. You'd probably go to school with 4 ponytails and a mismatched skirt and just beaming, right? You just were. You danced, you made art, you played without hesitation. You may have picked your scabs once or twice. This childlike energy is so free and so present because you just were. And at some point in your life, we started to learn things about the world and about the people around us. We learned how we need to be to fit in, what's acceptable, what the rules of home were, what the rules of school were, or in the community. We learned how to be acceptable and palatable to the people around us in order to receive love, to stay in the tribe. A lot of people also experienced, really traumatic things where there could have been loss in the family, a move that was a big deal. There could have been, of course, abuse, neglect, parents divorcing, things going on within the family. Maybe your family had to relocate to another country, or you were poor, or you were bullied. Something came along, and then probably a bunch of things came along that started to dim the light. And before all that, we just were. You're making a costume change before dinner. You're showing everybody hey, check out my song. And you'll stand on stage. Even if you were shy, there's this freedom. You're in your imagination. You're building, you're playing, you're imagining a rocket ship going up to the moon. You're just in that space. And as these things happen in our life, it starts to have us grow up, get a quote unquote reality check, and we start to learn what life is. Even the people around us teaching us this is right, this is wrong, this is up, this is down, this is black, this is white, this is a tree, this is a bird. You learn your colors, you learn, the things around you, people's names. And by observing the world and then having certain things happen to us, I was bullied, and we've all had many different occurrences that were embarrassing or traumatic or scary. These things in an instant teach us something about the world, where we go, okay, note to self, I can't trust you. Or note to self, I'm different. Note to self, if I do that again, I'm going to be laughed at. And these things shape us. They take away that childlike energy. They take away the natural joy, creativity, presence, and it replaces it with being self-conscious, self-aware. What do I need to do to keep everything calm at home? Who do I need to be there for my mom, or to not get bullied, or whatever, right? So as we grew older, we learned how to fit in, how to be acceptable, how to navigate the pressures of life. We had to deal with the shit going on at home or in our schools or in our family. And it felt like, or it feels like, that who we were goes away. It's replaced with trying to fit in as a teenager, right? And caring what other people think and caring about what you look like. And everything becomes about fitting in or being cool, or at least not being picked on today, or, doing well at school, and there's pressure. And so a lot of years go by where most of us aren't aware of who we were and what our authentic self is, and what's the real me. It's not things we really think about in our 20s generally. But as we go through this path and we go through the self-work, and we realize that. And I want to share today about how this is who we truly are, under the things that have made us what we're not. And not to overgeneralize healing, because it's a very individual, tailored thing. But I truly believe that as we peel back the layers of who we think we should be, as we learn to have our own back like people didn't around us, as we learn what it means to show up for ourselves and true self-care and self-love and all of this, and there comes this point where we desire so deeply to be who we truly are more than keeping everyone comfortable. And the fucks stop being given, and we start creating boundaries, and we start recognizing what is important to us and what we want out of our lives. And this is where the true growth, we've been growing the whole time, but this is where the explosion of growth happens. This is where we go from unhappy to feeling more fulfilled. It's where we go from feeling like roadblocks and resistance into things feeling easier. I say that weirdly because it's not easy, but there are paths of ease versus the path of always trying to be something that you're not. So as we grew older, we changed. And there's parts of us that are still like that. Maybe you dress in color, or maybe you have such a cool imagination, or you watch Disney movies, or you still like to paint. That's amazing. And it's such a beautiful journey to come back into who we were as a kid. And if being a kid, even from a very young age, was not a great place for you, just imagining that childlike wonder within you. The curiosity, the let's go out in the rain and let's look at the clouds. And oh my goodness, that cloud totally looks like a lizard. That fun part, right? That is more free. And this is where, not just the inner child, but in our whole authentic self, this is where the sacred codes of who we truly are lie. This is where these dormant codes are buzzing within us. And this is our soul waiting to be awakened. This is our soul waiting to be realized. This is who we truly are. So when you live in alignment with your authentic self, it's getting to know and living more and more in alignment with that part of you. And we can call it also the highest self, or even your highest path. You could call it your best self, but I'm going to get into in a few minutes how this version of you isn't perfect. It's not just sitting around eating nuts and seeds and kale. That's not necessarily your highest self. They enjoy life. So they eat well, but they also may know how to enjoy a glass of wine or a treat or whatever. They're authentic to themselves. That's different than perfect, and we'll get to that. But to live in alignment with this part of you, it's not about becoming something different. It's not even about becoming something better. It's about returning to the essence of who you truly are, who you were, who you are, becoming who you've always been. Reactivating your gifts, your strengths, the traits that are in you when you feel that freedom and that okayness and that safety, Your true self holds the keys to manifesting everything and including your highest joy and your highest purpose, your highest power. It's all the same. As you go along in a soul aligned life and continue on this journey, you never have to be perfect, but it will always lead you to soul growth, which makes you, it leads you to soul growth, which leads you to self growth, which just naturally makes you more magnetic because you're happier, you're more in joy, you're more in quote unquote alignment. And this is where, again, things come easier. This is where we can manifest more deliberately and intentionally. We're not so weighted down with, I'm not enough here and that probably couldn't work out and I don't trust myself to do this. I'll probably let myself down. Who am I to do this? I can't do that, right? We break free of that shit and back into our true self, the essence of who we truly are, leaning into our gifts, leaning into our strengths, leaning into our core values. The world needs you exactly as you are. When you're in your joy, when you're taking care of yourself, when you're nourished from the inside out, when you're in touch with your spirit, you have that light within you, that authenticity that rubs off on other people. And it is inspiring to see you authentically grow and shift and change. And as you tune into what is important to you and that higher path and start really loving yourself more and acting in that love. So you're going on more walks or you're drinking more water or you're taking time to meditate or taking time for yourself, you start to have that aligned glow to you. And other people start asking, what are you doing? And maybe it's self-growth and maybe it's the books you're reading and maybe it's, learning about surrender and taking the pressure off and being kinder to yourself. Maybe you have a mentor or a coach or whatever it is that's getting you through. They'll start asking. And if you have a business, it makes you more magnetic, but your friends and your family and your kids and everybody around you is like, wow, this vibe is infectious because it's real and it's true. So that's just a little snippet about how, the world needs you stepping into your light. And right now on earth, there are so many people awakening at a great speed, and you're here on purpose, chosen by your soul to awaken now, because we all need help. We all need awakening. So you don't have to be a mentor or be a coach or something like that. It's in who you're being. It's in who you're being at the grocery store, to your mailman, to your, accountant. It's who you're being. When you're being your true self, when you're being your authentic self, that radiates out. So I want to get a little bit more specific on what the whole authentic self is. Yes, it's the you before the shit that happened. But because the stuff that happened made you feel low about yourself in some way or another, it's worthiness. It's self-worthiness. When we feel deserving and worthy, and I say those because I know deserving can sound weird. I'll do my best to explain everything that I mean. But when we feel worthy of being here, of taking up space, it's less about out in the world and more about, I will say to myself, I'm going to go do yoga because I'm worth it. I'm going to do a meditation before I start my day because I genuinely love and care for myself. It's actually more like you are worth you finding your joy. You are worth moving through whatever it is that's going on. You are worth taking a walk every day if that's going to support and help you in your life. You are worth believing in your dreams. You are worthy of love with somebody who treats you well. And these types of things ripple out to the outside in who you're being, but again, it starts to show up at home. So the whole purpose of what source wants for you, I'm going to really sum up some big truths here. What source your guides, your angels, and your highest self and your soul want for you, their one main objective is to bring you back into your whole and worthy self. Restore you back into knowing how valid, beautiful, capable, strong, gifted you are, no matter what. No matter how awkward you feel, no matter how much you feel like you've messed up or you're not there or this, it's nothing to do with that. It's like every tree is deserving of honor and to be there because it is. Because you exist, you have so many beautiful facets to you. And the hard stuff you've gone through is deserving of love and support and nurturing. It doesn't make you wrong. And anything that you've done that you feel shame for, you feel like, oh, I'm not good because I do this, or I freaked out at my kids, or I ate a whole bag of chips. Any of that is either just part of life, and that happens sometimes, or it's coming from a place from the you that is hurt, which is also deserving of love. Every aspect of you is worthy and deserving of love. And it's only been the bullies, the parents, the things you've been through, the betrayals, the abandonments that have dimmed your self-worthiness. When you honor your true self, you have a natural confidence from within that's not about like, I'm better than them. It's a natural confidence because I exist. And as I said, like for me in my life, compared to where I've been with my eating disorder and numbing and really truly hating myself, to be here now, it shocks me every day. But when every day I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm going to do some stretching because I'm worth it. I'll be foam rolling and go like, yes, Talia, I love you. You're worth it. And not every day is like that. But I now refuse to talk shit about myself, to shame myself, to talk down to myself. I am worth more than that. And it's a boundary within myself because I now am learning what self-worthiness means. So it's not just your worth investing and going after that big thing. It is, but it's actually like you deserve joy and fulfillment and pleasure. You deserve to tell yourself you're doing a great job. You deserve to cut yourself some slack. You deserve to lighten the load because from a lot of other people's perspectives, you're doing a great job. So this self-growth experience is calling you back into your whole worthy self, where you realize that in your light and in your dark, in your up and your down, everything, it's not or, it's and. We are all light and dark. We are all optimism and pessimism. We are all good days and bad days. We are all, joy and shame. And the more you realize that I'm like that too, and everybody's like that too, whether they're admitting it or not, you start to realize that no matter what you've done or haven't done, you are worthy and valid and absolutely can create a life that you love. And you're worth that. You're worth showing up for yourself. Your joy is worth it. And there's that quote that I love from Anonymous Nin, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more than the risk it took to blossom. And that's the time where we go, F it. I'm no longer doing what everyone else says I should do. I'm no longer worrying about how to be palatable because it's taking away a part of my life force. It's killing my life force, my vitality, my joy, my health. It's time to come back into your true authentic self. And so even when we say, I got to move forward, I got to release this, I got to heal this, what you're really saying is, I want to come back into my whole authentic self, who I truly am, in natural confidence, natural magnetism, being free to be who you are. So from a soul perspective, you've traveled. You have traveled. And you've gathered wisdom, you've gathered experience through many lifetimes. And when you align with your whole authentic self, you also align with the purpose of this lifetime. So yes, your soul's purpose, but less about a job and more about why you came into this experience as a soul, because your soul didn't come into the experience to be a millionaire or to be a doctor or whatever. Your soul came here to grow, come back into whole worthy self, and there's a fullest expression option. But not everybody does that, and it's actually okay. There's no real pressure, but hopefully along your lifetime, you're growing, you're shedding, you're releasing, and you're remembering more of who you are. You remember the interconnectedness of us. You remember, that I am worthy. Oh yeah, I was so caught up in what I thought I should be. I was so caught up in how much money I was making or what my weight was or whatever, and I just forgot to enjoy life, to just be here. You start remembering this ancient wisdom. And it might be through hearing other people say it and we activate each other. we share and then we're like, oh yeah. When you read a book and you're like, oh my goodness, I feel like this is speaking to my soul. It's because you're becoming more online. You're remembering more of the truth of this whole experience. So coming back into your whole authentic self is like coming back into the most natural part of you. So let's make it more tangible before we start wrapping up this episode. So what does it actually mean to live in alignment, right? A very easy way, and one of my favorite ways, it's the core values. Living in alignment with your core values means living in alignment with what is really important to you. If you're a member of On the Path, there are core value trainings there. But what this looks like is we've all heard about core values, but core values, it's not about what you want. It's not a vision board. A core value is like, who the F are you really? So we go back into like when you were a kid, what lit you up? What makes you feel free? What makes you feel like you lose all time and space? What makes you feel good? If you had the bajillion, when you have the bajillion dollars, what types of things do you invest in, spend your money on? Like, who are you truly? And in the core values, you may find things like freedom, spirituality, growth, nature, community, connection, integrity. There's going to be things like that. And even if it is abundance, it could also be like safety, security. Who are you really? What are you here for? Bigger picture than just making money or what you do. Bigger picture, who are you? And that's where we start, is with our core values. And we uncover who we truly are. And the more we feed into that, so some of mine are spirituality and nature. Those are two of mine. Freedom's also another one. So every time that I feel disconnected, I feel scritchy, even if it's like to do with something random in my life or to do with feeling stagnant in my business or not quite sure what I want to do with this or that, I go right back into my core values. I get out in nature. I move my body. I go, what can I do to create freedom today? It might be like booking off the rest of the day and going on a walk, or just taking a week off, or, going away on a day road trip even by myself, going down to the beach, like whatever can make me feel free. I access the who I truly am. So for you, start to uncover your core values. If you haven't done your core values in a while, do them again. If you have them somewhere in a notebook, post them up and ask yourself, what can I do to be in line with these things? And remember that you are worthy of that. When I am in nature, health, spirituality, freedom, like when I'm in my core values, I shine. And that, again, even when it comes to success and abundance, that's where I think of my best stuff. Almost all my programs were literally written in a cabin in the woods in nature, where I did nothing but like yoga and nature for days and days. That's where I've written my book, all over different cabins on my island, because that is where I'm connected. So maybe it's laughing and connection and community, and you need more time with your heart people. Or maybe you need more time alone because peace is a core value and you haven't been feeling peace. It's time to come into the tangible of, what can I do to feel better? Because I'm worth that. What is my soul calling me for? So you start to understand that you're worthy of these simple things. You're worthy of love and joy and abundance simply because you exist. And at one point in your life, before the I can'ts and I shouldn'ts and what should I do and the pressure and the go, go, go and the hustle and the best self right now, all of a sudden, like, I'm the quantum leaping queen, but like it can be very deceiving. It can be very go, go, go. And now is not necessarily the time to go, go, go. It's the time to be. One more tangible tool is the her work, which I haven't talked about in a while, but it was the key of how this whole podcast came to be, awakening her. And her, of course, for me, identify as her. For you, it can be whatever feels right. But what that her is that next level you. And it could be the fullest expression, that next level me, that highest self. And then I go, what is she doing? Her in a year, what did she do to get there? How does she stand? How does she be? What does she spend her money on? What does she eat? What does she do to look after her body? What kind of people are around her? Who is she? That's another way to start coming back into your whole authentic self. And I want you to imagine yourself in a scene in your life as your best self or most free self. Or say you just won the lottery and you got to quit your job, or you're off for a month and you're on your ideal getaway and there's literally like no worries. Who are you being? Is it fun? Is it freedom? Is it food? Is it travel? Is it excitement? Is it spirituality? What do you yearn for? And what is that next level you immersed in? What practices do they practice? What elevated their life to where they are now? And on that, your best self, your highest self, is not floating through the clouds perfect. They are literally you. And if we're going to play with time, they're like 6 months, a year, whatever, even 5 years, whatever you want in the future, but it's still you. There are still rainy days. There's still times when money is tighter or more abundant, or stuff goes on, or real life happens. We all have things that happen where people and pets pass away, or we have to move, or stuff happens in the world. Stuff will still happen. You'll still have a mirror you have to look in every day. But who are you being in that fullest expression of who you are? When you feel like life is too much, what are you doing for yourself to nurture yourself? When you feel awkward and insecure about a thing going on at work, how do you reassure yourself? What kind of words do you tell yourself that are nourishing and supportive? How did you get to where you were? Did you get help? Was it about committing to yourself and devotion? Whatever it is, you are worth that. And that next level self is calling. And that's what I like to think of the whole authentic self, the you fully expressed in your full worthiness, willing to have boundaries, willing to fuel your core values and feed into what really lights you up, what makes you feel good, recognizing you are worth moving your body and whatever it is that you feel like you would be in your highest good, you are worth that. And when you have down days like we all do, moon cycles still exist, hormone cycles still exist, life cycles still exist. When you have down days, how do you bring that energy to those moments? Because I know when I'm being my whole authentic self in this season of life, even when I'm crying on the floor, I hold myself on the floor. I tell myself, even if I feel like a mess, I still love and accept myself. Even if I feel like I have no fucking clue what's going on, I know that somehow I'm doing a good job. I'm literally doing my best. I don't know what else to do. But that compassion, that it's okay. Whether I was short and impatient today or Mother Teresa of patience, I still love and accept myself. Whether I made money or didn't make money, the scale went up or down, that person liked my thing or not, that person bought or not, my mom said this or not, I still love and accept myself. That is the whole authentic self. And then learning how to show up for myself emotionally, physically, those daily practices that make all the difference. I'm worth this. I'm worth seeking joy. I'm worth investing time in myself, in meditation or yoga or money in myself or whatever it takes. And that improves the way I communicate too, even with my husband. I'll be like, this isn't about you. I'm just having a day and I think I need a little bit of extra space just because I'm feeling snappy. And he's like, okay. Do you want to go take a bath? What do you need? I'm more able to actually say, I need to go and just stretch. I need to go to bed early. I need to go have a bath. Because that is what my whole authentic self does when she's losing her shit. She looks after herself. She goes to bed. She has a bath instead of the drinking or the drugs or whatever. And that's just my personal story. So I hope that this has resonated. I went a little bit off script, not that I ever have a script, but I went just where I felt called to go. And I hope that this has served you. I just want to remind you that, underneath the stuff that you've been told about yourself, that is the true you. The silly, the free, probably a bit of rude humor. Maybe you're creative. Maybe it's just in the way you look at life differently. That is who you truly are. So lean into your core values, start to uncover, what is really important to me in this upcoming chapter right now in my life? And how can I give myself more of that? More freedom, more health, more nature, more slowness, more spiritual growth or connection, that is alignment. Okay, my love. Until next time, I hope you have a great day. And if you are wanting to end 2024 together, I've got the Momentum Tribe. We're still accepting applications. It starts November 1st, and it's really just a staying on track, staying in the zone, having these types of reminders to create the freedom, to create the abundance, to move forward, to nurture your body, to get support, so that you go into 2025 feeling that momentum, feeling lit up, feeling on fire and confident and excited to take on the year. That's below if you want Momentum Tribe. Also, the other things I mentioned on the path. So if that calls you as well, feel free. And other than that, I will see you in the next episode. Take care, my love. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Awakening Her podcast, your go-to for real life manifestation. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening from. Reviews really help the show. You can also find me after the show on Instagram at Talia Joy Manifestation. And listen, love, I know that you are ready to stop spinning your wheels and hustling and doing a bunch of stuff, and you're ready to make the money you want to make, to feel the way you want to feel. And if this is the case for you, then you are absolutely in the right place. I'm so excited. And if you're ready to jump into the implementation, you can check out On the Path. The link is below. Remember, all manifestation starts on the inside. I'll see you in the next episode.